to the ancient Italian town known as Pompeii. I will be your tour guide as we learn about this famous town. If the name Pompeii sounds familiar, that is likely because of the mountain standing behind us, named Mount Vesuvius. Now this is no ordinary mountain. It is, in fact, an infamous volcano that 2,000 years ago erupted and covered the entire town in a blanket of ash. As you might have guessed, I'm not actually a tour guide in the town of Pompeii in Italy. I am actually a scientist, and I do know a thing or two about volcanoes, and that is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Volcanoes are huge, they're dangerous, and we are going to learn all about them and how they work. So, what does a volcano look like? From the outside, as we saw on Mount Vesuvius, it just looks like a regular mountain. But if we take a cross section, that is if we cut halfway through the mountain, it's going to look a little bit different. Think of it a bit like a chimney. Underground, far, far underground, there is what's known as a magma chamber. Okay, if you haven't heard the word magma before, just think of it's another name for lava, but it's underground. So there's a big reservoir, a big chamber that's just filled with all this magma waiting to be pushed up through a big tube inside the mountain to the surface. Okay? Now there's so much pressure built up here that eventually it's all going to come out all at once. If there's a disturbance, such as a small earthquake or an explosion, all of that magma is going to erupt at once, and it will then be known as lava. A few other things also come out of the volcano, such as some small rocks, some dangerous gases, a lot of smoke, and a lot of ash as well. So let's get started with drawing a diagram of our volcano. So we are going to start first with the flat landscape. It's not the case for every volcano, but a lot of volcanoes actually do start from a flat landscape. Okay, so we have our ground here, and let's transport ourselves back in time, okay? Let's say our volcano undergoes its first eruption, okay? You might get something like that, might be a layer of ash, and then on top of that you might have the lava that erupts, and that, when it cools, turns to stone. Okay, and then let's say our eruption cycle repeats, and we have another layer of ash and another layer of lava, and this continues until we have a volcano. Okay, so they do appear in kind of layers like that. Okay, so we can see kind of our mountain here, and we might have our crater up top. So this is kind of where the eruption would come from if it were to erupt. And nextly, we need to go underground. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in another line, and this is going to represent the Earth's crust. Okay, so our Earth is actually made of a number of layers, and one of these layers, the top layer, is the crust. Okay, this is the kind of cooler, harder, more brittle layer, but we are going to keep that there. And our vent is the tube that our magma gets transported up through. It's just going to go through the vent. Now, here is where we have our magma chamber. This is that large cavern of magma where it's all stored. So we are going to label this magma chamber. Okay, we also have our crust. We have our crater. There is normally a piece of rock that kind of covers the crater from the vent, so we are going to include that. And of course here we have our vent. So we also have rock and ash. So here is what our volcano is currently looking like. We have our magma chamber here, and because it's so hot it is rising, and this is going to create a lot of pressure on the vent. Okay? Now, what happens when we have an eruption?
So our crater here gets destroyed and we have an explosion out of our volcano. Okay, explosion out this way. And so what goes flying here? We have pieces of rock. So we have some rock going flying. We have bits of ash. Ash getting strewn all over the country. We have smoke, which we can see here. Let's say smoke. We also have a number of harmful gases. Okay, harmful gases such as CO2, which is carbon dioxide. We have SO2, which is sulfur dioxide. We also have some H2O, which is water, okay, steam. So there are other formations that we can see sometimes. Sometimes a vent will leak off to the side, and maybe it won't fully get to the surface, and it will create a little pool of rock here known as a sill. Sometimes there are side vents, so a vent can maybe lean off to the side and there can be a smaller eruption from the side. That is a possibility. Okay, so obviously when a volcano erupts, it has a lot of implications for the surrounding environment. So you have trees that maybe might have been there, just get stripped away completely. Okay, so it's very harmful for the surrounding environment. So here is an overview of our volcano, and now we're going to take a look at the mechanism of the explosion, and we are going to compare it to an everyday object.
Now you might be wondering, how does this volcano produce such a big explosion? Well, to help describe this, I want you to think of one thing, a bottle of Coke. So here we have our bottle of soda. Now I need you to picture this as the middle of a mountain underneath a volcano. When we shake it up, there's loads of pressure and loads of gas building up on the inside. So finally, when we release it, it should explode just like a volcano. So, when we opened our bottle of soda after shaking it up and increasing the pressure on the inside, we saw that it exploded and went everywhere. Now this is pretty much what happens with a volcano. But now, the fun begins, because we get to make our own volcano. And hopefully it won't make as much of a mess as I did outside. So let's give this a go.
Here's a list of the things you'll need to complete this experiment. Number 1, you'll need a plate. Just a dinner plate or a paper plate will be absolutely fine. A 1-ounce plastic cup, so that's about the size of a shot glass. Paper, so this would be A4 paper. Also, if you have card or an empty toilet roll tube, that will work. You'll need scissors, sellotape, baking powder, also bread soda will also work there. You will need an acid, so lemon juice, or if you don't have lemon juice, you could use vinegar. We will need some red food dye, which is optional. It's not needed for the experiment, but it does look cool. And washing up liquid to create a cool amount of bubbles.
Here we are. This is going to be the site of our volcano. And now we are going to need a few things to continue with this. First of all, we need a small cup. So I have my scientific beaker here. It's a small cup and holds about 30 milliliters. The next thing we'll need is some tin foil, which I have here. A big roll of it, so that'll be plenty. We'll need a scissors. We'll need probably some sellotape and some paper or card or cardboard or even an empty toilet roll container. That would work absolutely. We're also going to need a few more chemical ingredients. So the first thing we're going to need is baking powder. We're also going to need some lemon juice, or you can also use vinegar. We have some red food coloring for dramatic effect. And lastly, so we make a really good eruption, we're going to have some washing up liquid, some soap. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our magma chamber. Or I suppose more accurately we could call it the crater, which is the part on top of the volcano where the lava comes out. So we're going to have our cup and we're going to have, I'm going to use some paper, but if you have your cardboard or toilet roll, you can also use that. So the aim is to make a tube that can fit this small cup in the top. So I think if we get our piece of paper and we wrap it around, we'll be able to put our ingredients in the cup and it should stand up. So I think that might be a little bit tall. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our scissors and we are going to cut our page in half this way, like so. And we're going to make it a little bit shorter as well. Maybe about that tall is okay. Alright, so let's see how this will look. We have our cup and we wrap our paper or cardboard around it. Just like that. Now we should be able to put some sellotape on that and it should stand. So let's give that a try. Let's get some sellotape. So I took the liberty of turning off the camera while trying to get some tape because it was not cooperating very well with me. But now we should be able to make the tube of our volcano. So we have our paper wrapped around. We take some sellotape and on the seam put some tape, and we're going to do the same on the other end, just like so. That's close enough, that should work. And we should be able to stand our tube up just like this. So what we have here is actually a really good example of the inside of a volcano. So if you can imagine, under our tube here, we have our magma chamber, that huge reservoir just filled with magma, waiting to burst up through this tube. Okay, so we have our tube, also known as the vent of the volcano, and we have the crater on the top. So the next thing we need to do is make it into the shape of a mountain. And for that, we're going to be using tin foil. So we're going to take a big roll of tin foil and we're going to make it into that mountainy shape. Now, how does the mountain get into that shape to begin with? Well, when it erupts, it's going to leave loads of ash on the ground, okay? And the lava is going to flow over that ash. And so when that lava cools down, it turns into rock. And this happens over and over and over again until it kind of turns into this cone shape, which we're going to make right here. So we might be just a little bit too long, so I'm going to use the scissors and I'm going to cut a little bit of tin foil off the bottom. Should work fine. Just so we make our cone nice and even, so it looks good when we finally erupt our volcano. So we're going to make a little circle again. The best thing for us to make a circle and place it over our volcano. Doesn't matter if it gets a little bit squished in the meantime. Now we are talking. This is looking a bit like a volcano. So if we squish it on, it should work quite well. Now if we turn it around, we have a beautiful volcano. So, I think it's about time we go and test this out. So, here we are with our volcano, and now we're going to get started on making the eruption. So the first thing we're going to add is some baking powder. So we're going to take our baking powder, maybe fill our little cup up about halfway. Should work okay. Get a good bit in there, we'll get a nice big eruption. A little bit more. Super. And the next thing we're going to add is a drop of washing up liquid. Just a little bit like that should work. It's probably too much, but that's okay. And lastly, we're going to add some red food dye to make it look really like lava. So you're going to be very careful with this because it's very strong stuff. Now, so that is the guts of it. And when we start the reaction, we're going to add lemon juice. So, ideally, when we add our cup of lemon juice, we are going to see a nice red foamy reaction. There's also some pretty cool eruptions outside. Hopefully you guys have managed to make your own volcanoes as well, and hopefully they work out just like mine did. Now my reactions were a little slow, and if you wanted to not have them as slow as mine, you could just leave out the washing up liquid, because that does slow down the reaction just a little bit. And that's all I have time for today. I hope everybody had a great time and learned lots about volcanoes and how they work, and what happened to Pompeii in the distant past, and how we make our own volcanoes. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you soon.